This week is Space Week in school. Every class is learning all about my dad's mission. When I took the register back to the school office yesterday, I spotted Class 3 making models of the International Space Station out of tinfoil and toilet rolls. And then on the way back to my own class, I bumped into this little kid who was dressed up like a baby alien. He nearly jumped out of my skin in surprise. He was wearing a homemade spacesuit, his face painted bright green with sparkly dealy boppers sticking out of his frizz of black hair. "I know who you are," he said, looking up at me open-mouthed, his eyes wide with wonder. "Your dad's a spaceman." "That's right," I said, feeling pretty cool that my fame had spread all the way to year one. "I'm Jamie Drake." This kid starts jigging up and down with excitement, his dealy boppers bouncing around wildly. Then he asked me the question I get asked at least 3 times a day. "How does your dad have a wee in space?" Up on the International Space Station, everything is weightless, so my dad just floats around and can even fly like a superhero. But all anyone ever wants to know is how Dad goes to the loo. I'm in year 6. This means that we get to do all the serious educational stuff about my dad's mission. This week we're learning about alien worlds, interstellar travel and nanotechnology. Right now, our teacher, Mrs. Solomon, is writing our Space Week homework on the whiteboard. Invent an alien. "Is there anybody out there?" Mrs. Solomon asked, turning back to face us with a grin. She points up at the sky outside our classroom window. "Do aliens exist, or are we all alone in the universe?" Sitting next to me, Minty pokes her elbow into my ribs. "Of course they do," she whispers. "I've seen them on YouTube." Minty's real name is Araminta, and she used to go to a posh private school, but then her dad got sent to prison for some big bank robbery, and she ended up here at Austin Park Primary. Sometimes I think the police got the wrong member of the family, and they should have locked Minty up instead, especially when she keeps on poking me in the ribs. I wish I didn't have to sit next to her, but Mrs. Solomon seems to think we should become friends, just because we're both the new kids at school. I don't think so. Minty watches all these crazy YouTube videos made by weirdos who wear tinfoil on their heads. One showed a rubber dummy that was supposed to be an alien being sliced to pieces by these doctors dressed in spacesuits. It was so obviously a fake, but Minty swore blind it was a real-life alien autopsy. "This Friday," Mrs. Solomon continues, glancing down at the top as she taps at the laptop on her desk, "Jamie's dad, Commander Dan Drake, is launching a mission to the stars to search for alien life. Let's take a look at this video to find out more about his mission." Next to the whiteboard, the flat screen display flickers into life. There I see a picture of my dad dressed in his astronaut gear, flanked by the rest of the ISS crew. The butterflies in my stomach start to flutter as this frozen picture slowly dissolves to reveal an image of a strange-looking satellite shape like a silver ball flying high above the Earth. Then, an incredibly deep voice like the one that you hear on trailers for the latest blockbuster movies starts to rumble from the speakers. "From the launch of the first satellite in 1957, the human race has endeavoured to explore every corner of the solar system in which we live. From planetary landings to solar surveys, the knowledge we have gained has helped us to understand our unique place in the universe. Now it is time for the human race to take our next step and begin to explore our galaxy." As the voice speaks, spectacular photographs fill the screen. I see the dusty red mountains of Mars stretching out under a butterscotch sky, Jupiter's swirling storms and the ice rings of Saturn, images of Mercury, Venus, Uranus and Neptune, each world so beautiful and strange. Then these pictures start to speed up, the planets flashing by in a blur of colours, yellow, red, brown, blue and green, before dissolving to reveal a photograph of the sun. This looks like a blazing ball of fire, glowing red flares arcing from its surface into space. "Our sun is only one star out of 200 billion stars that make up our galaxy, the Milky Way," the voice announces. "Until now, the great distances between these stars has kept the possibility of interstellar travel out of humanity's grasp. But with advances in microelectronics, nanotechnology and laser engineering, at last the human race can reach for the stars." The screen fades to black, and for a second I think the film is finished. But then the camera pans to reveal another satellite in orbit high above the Earth. This one looks like a flower, an array of futuristic solar panels curving to create a spiral of petals in space. At the base of this strange satellite is a sleek silver module with an airlock at the far end, the Habzone module of the Lux Eterna launch platform. "Led by Commander Dan Drake," the voice continues, "the crew of the International Space Station are now making their preparations for the final phase of the Lux Eterna mission. Construction of the orbital launch platform is now complete on Friday, the 3rd of November at 0800 hours GMT. Commander Drake will use the Advanced Manned Manoeuvring Unit to travel from the ISS to the higher orbit of the Lux Aeterna launch platform to perform final checks on the light swarm probes. Each of these nano spacecraft is the size of a postage stamp and weighs less than a sheet of paper. When Commander Drake fires the Lux Aeterna's 100 gigawatt laser array, the sails on board the light swarm probes will catch this laser beam and accelerate to more than 75% of the speed of light. Dad told me that Lux Aeterna is a Latin phrase that means eternal light, which is a pretty cool name for a giant space laser. On the screen, a swarm of silver kites floats free from the heart of the flower. Inside the satellite spiral of solar panels, I see an inner ring of glowing red lights, the launch platform's laser array. As I watch these red lights suddenly shoot out to form a single beam, this red laser light striking the space kites and accelerating into the stars. Launched on their interstellar journey, the light swarm probes will travel to a star called Tau Ceti, located 8 trillion kilometers from Earth. Tau Ceti is orbited by a system of 5 planets, with at least one of these worlds located within the star's Goldilocks zone, where liquid water and life could exist. Strange new planets now fill the screen, worlds of ice and oceans burning blue in the depths of space. Travelling at 299,792 kilometers per second, it takes 12 years for the light from Tau Ceti to reach us here on Earth. At this great distance, it would take a conventional spacecraft 100,000 years to reach this star system. But travelling at near light speeds, the light swarm probes will complete their journey to Tau Ceti in approximately 15 years. Once there, the robotic probes will use onboard cameras, sensors and communication systems to search for alien life, using the same laser pulse technology to beam their findings back to Earth, to reach us here in a further 15 years. Thanks to the efforts of the Commander Dan Drake and the ISS crew, within your lifetime the human race might finally discover the answer to the eternal question: are we alone in the universe? As the screen fades to black again, this time for good, everyone starts clapping and cheering. I can't stop myself from blushing, knowing that they're cheering for my dad. I feel so proud of him. But strangely, I can't help feeling a tiny bit jealous too. Everything revolves around the fact that Dad's an astronaut, where we live, where we go on holiday, and now even my lessons in school. Sometimes I wish I just didn't have to share him with the world. Are we alone in the universe? Beaming excitedly, Mrs. Solomon repeats the question. That's what I want you to think about, Class 6. Turning back to the whiteboard, our teacher takes aim with her laser pointer to underline our homework task. Invent an alien. Imagine the planets the light swarm probes might discover orbiting Tau Ceti. What strange alien creatures could they find there? For your homework, I want you to invent your own alien species. Think about the kind of world that it's from. Does this have jungles or deserts, or might it be some kind of water world? How will this affect the type of alien you invent? Will it need tentacles instead of arms and legs like you and me? Maybe it could fly like a bird through clouds of ice and dust. Use your imagination to answer the following questions. Where will this alien live? What might it eat? And how could it communicate? Everyone starts talking at once, the whole class bubbling with excitement about the idea of dreaming up their own alien life form. Minty turns to me with a quizzical look on her face. So what will your dad do if he meets an alien up there? She asks. Has he got some kind of ray gun to blast it to bits before it starts eating him? Aliens just love the taste of human flesh. Feeling kind of grossed out, I quickly shake my head. My dad's not going to Tau Ceti, I tell her, speaking slowly to make sure Minty understands, seeing as she seems to have completely missed the point of the video. He's just going to do a spacewalk to launch the light swarm probes. They're the ones that are heading into the stars in search of alien life. Minty pulls her face like I'm the stupid one. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that some Martian won't fly past when your dad's on his spacewalk and make a meat feast pizza out of him. As you can see, Minty is seriously annoying. My dad's on the International Space Station, I say, not the menu of some intergalactic Pizza Hut. I'm just about to add that Martians don't actually exist when our teacher claps her hands together. I'm so pleased to hear you're all so excited about your homework, Mrs. Solomon says, raising her voice so that she can be heard above the hubbub. And I look forward to seeing your presentations about the weird and wonderful aliens you've invented on Thursday. If you like, you can even dress up as your alien creation. But right now, we need to practice another essential skill that astronauts need. She turns back to the whiteboard, rubbing out the homework task and writing the word equations there instead. It's time to revise for your maths test tomorrow. Everyone groans, including me. It's true, you do need to be a total maths genius to make it as an astronaut. That's why I always get my dad to help me with my maths homework. But since he went into orbit, my marks have been taken a bit of a nosedive. I mean, we get to chat on the phone most days and we have a family video conference call once a week, but I don't want to waste this talking about sums when Dad's floating up in space. As Mrs. Solomon hands out our revision sheets, I look down at the list of equations with a sinking feeling. I wish Dad was there to help me.